Hello everyone and welcome to Golden Nova's First Reacts, where I react first to all the things you want to see reacted to first, as long as I'm the first person you come to react to things first. Sorry I'm a little late on this one, I think by a couple of hours. I was waist deep in playing some 100 line because I know how to set my priorities correctly, but just on a lark, I went to check Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization to see if anything had been posted, and lo and behold, Reiji Akaba is back. The different dimension demons are getting another wave of support in, what is this next set? Doom of Dimensions. Great name, by the way. I'm going to try and keep my voice a little lower since things are a little late over on this end. Let's see what this, probably one of the most prolific decks ever printed is up to right now. And I say that because it really does handle basically every summoning type that matters. If it comes out of the extra deck, the different dimension demons have done it, and they've done it pretty effectively. The amount of boss monsters that they've churned out that have been really freaking good. I like what we have: the rank 6 Wave King. Siegfried has seen some niche play because it's free negates. Genghis has been an advantage engine since forever. It's just chock full of good cards, and they needed to be, considering they were trying to juggle everything. So I'm excited to see what we've got going on here. First up, we have DD Lance Soldier, level 2 Dark Fiend Tuner monster, 400 attack and defense. You can target a DD monster you control and increase its level by up to the number of Dark Contract cards that you control and in your graveyard. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Dark Contract card you control and destroy it. And if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. That's so good. So DDs are, of course, always looking to find ways to turn off the Dark Contract cards after they have used them, because they keep hurting you the longer you have them. You're trying to slip out of those contracts so you don't have to pay the devil his due. This handles it in, well, it handles it mechanically because it replaces the Dark Contract with itself as a body, which is great to have on almost any monster. But the first effect, increasing up to the amount of Dark Contracts, means you don't have to keep an exact number around to make sure you have your sinking levels right. You can just, if you have like 3 between your grave and your field, you can just pick 2 if you need 2. So, highly flexible, great recursion, solid start here. DD Defense Soldier, level 4 Dark Fiend, effect 0 attack, 1800 defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, you can activate one of these effects. I love when they do this, because, like, technically, yeah, you can only activate one of these, but it's just, it's a weird, like, branching pathway down there that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so you can use one of these effects. You can either target a DD card in your Pendulum Zone and special summon it, ooh, or banish a DD monster from your graveyard. If your DD monster attacks this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. And second effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add a DD Pendulum monster from your face-up extra deck or graveyard to your hand. Okay, so I've always felt that the DD Pendulum monsters have tended to be the most awkward of the lineup. They're pretty good for what they accomplish, but the pendulum mechanic doesn't play. It plays well whenever you can, like, get the Gilgamesh stuff, basically fixing your scales for you. So in best case scenario, it's great. I like that Defense Soldier is here to kind of give us some backup plans. There's some big ass Pendulum DD monsters that you can now just bring out, or you can just turn them into Armades, which is great. And then you can recover these once this goes to the graveyard for whatever. So great Pendulum support for that part of the theme. Speaking of Pendulum monsters, we're going to keep in mind what exactly these are because we don't have the card frames quite yet. But we have DDD 0 Demise King 0 Machinex, a level 8 Dark Fiend Pendulum monster with 3000 attack and 0 defense, and has a scale of 0. You can only use the Pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. During your main phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can place a Dark Contract continuous spell or trap card from your deck face up on your field. This is every Dark Contract, including the trap cards, because they immediately are active. That's crazy. You can only use the first and second monster effect of this card's name once per turn each. If a face-up DDD and or Dark Contract cards you control are destroyed while this card is face-up in your extra deck, you can special summon this card, then you can destroy one card on the field. So it's not a protection effect, but if they get popped, this comes out. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in your pendulum zone. That seems pretty good. Pendulum scale 0 with no restrictions on its usage allows you to get the level 1 monsters. Beforehand you would play DD Savant. There's a level 1 one that searches you dark contracts when you normal summon it. This one is a pendulum monster you can play as a pendulum spell that gets you a dark contract immediately. So that might scale that out of existence, but still, it's great for playing with all your other pendulum monsters, because now level's not an issue, and this keeps going back and forth from the field to the pendulum scale. Visually, this card appears to be based on Himika, Reiji's mother, as well as the Suit of Hearts, which she's associated with. Okay. Happy late Mother's Day, by the way. Okay, DDD 4. We're going to the 4th D. I think we actually do have one 4D1, but it's always fun to see it again. DDDD Great Dimension King Arc Crisis, a level 12 Dark Fiend fusion pendulum monster with 4,000 attack and defense with a pendulum scale of 13. You can only use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. You can target any number of Dark Contract cards that you control and destroy them, then special summon up to that many Doom King pendulum monsters from your deck and or extra deck. That is outrageous. We'll get to that in a second. As a monster, it requires 4 Fiend monsters, a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and a Pendulum one, and must be either Fusion summoned or special summoned from the extra deck by banishing the above cards from your field and or graveyard. You can only special summon a copy of this card once per turn this way, or no, once per turn at all, no matter which method you use. If this card is special summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. It can attack all of your opponent's monsters once each, and if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in the pendulum zone. This card is meant to be based on Supreme King Zark. Yeah, kinda sounds like it, considering it's got the similar fusion-esque requirements. You know, instead of a dragon of each one of these types, it's a fiend of each one of those types. Summons out instead of Supreme Kings, we're summoning Doom Kings. So the Doom King pendulum monsters, so late in the DD development cycle, I think far past its actual initial release, they created a Doom King for each of the types, Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz, and they're all pendulums, and they're all huge, and they're all really difficult to get out because their materials are ridiculous, but their effects are also incredible. I think it's a little less wild here because I think some of them require them to have been summoned normally to get their effects, but their stats and their still applicable effects are still outrageous just to have. The thing is, though, is that's this thing's pendulum effect, and this is remember that we're looking at a fusion monster here, so this ain't going into our pendulum scale immediately. We gotta make this thing by getting all of these requisite monsters on our field and then on our graveyard, which, I'm gonna be honest, we're DDDs. We churn through all those summoning types like butter. I think that this will be something you can expect to see on your end board, and then you negate stuff, attack a bunch of monsters. If your opponent retaliates, you go, cool, I have a 13 scale now. I am now going to trade in my dark contracts for more boss monsters. This is pretty cool. I don't think it's game warpingly busted, but I think it's good. Alright. DDD Founder King Clovis, level 6 Fiend Synchro Monster, 2100 attack, 1900 defense, requires generic materials. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target one of your banished DD monsters, or if you control a Dark Contract card, you can target one in your graveyard instead and special summon it. And if this card becomes banished, you can activate this effect. If your DD monster attacks a defense position monster this turn, it inflicts piercing battle damage. This monster is named for Clovis, the first king of the Franks and possibly the Clovis culture, as well as the suit of clovers associated with Reiji's sibling Reira through their CC and CCC deck. I've never heard of this. That's hilarious. Okay, so we can make this as an extension of the DD Rider from the beginning, because we can grab a banished DD, and that gets us up to a level 8 synchro if we use this as the non-tuner material. So that's pretty sick. and then if it becomes banished from something, I'm not exactly sure what exactly would banish it, but if it does, you gain piercing that turn, so that's outrageous. Okay, DDD Wisdom King Solomon. Rank 4, Dark Xyz Fiend Monster, 1000 attack, 2500 defense. That's a familiar stat line. Takes any 2 level 4 DD monsters. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can detach a material from this card to add a DD card from your deck to your hand, so it's just a King of the Feral Imp so far. If this card becomes banished... Oh, one second. If this card becomes banished, you can target a DD effect monster you control. That effect monster gains this effect until the end of the turn. If this card destroys a monster by battle, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's original attack. Okay, I just realized I'm a bit of a goofy goober. All these things saying, if this card becomes banished, what effect could do that? What's going to happen? It's when it becomes food for Great Dimension King Arc Crisis. All of these are going to have a when banished effect to give to this guy so that it becomes even more of a pain in the ass to deal with. Is this one? This one doesn't have one for the pendulum part, but this one will give him piercing, and he attacks all of them. And this one is the Flame Wingman, half a Flame Wingman. So whenever it does stuff, punches stuff, it does piercing battle damage. If it's in defense position, and no matter what, it'll deal extra burn damage. That's nutty. Okay, yeah, this is setting up to be a big ol'. This is setting up to be the new big combo guy that you kill your opponent with. Okay. DDD Sky King Zeus Ragnarok. Link 3, Dark Fiend Link Monster, 2200 attack. Bottom left, bottom right. So we have the bottom fan of Link arrows. Requires 2 or more DD monsters, so I think you would go in from the Link 2 that everyone loves. You can use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. The first effect, you can target a DD or Dark Contract card that you control. Destroy it. Also during your main phase, this turn you can conduct a pendulum summon of any number of DD monsters in addition to your pendulum summon, so 2 pendulum summons. When your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand as a quick effect, you can banish a DD monster and a Dark Contract card from your graveyard to negate the activation. What? So you're going to have pendulum scales because if you made the Link 2 monster, it does that for you specifically. Then you link up into this. Target a DD or Dark Contract, and you'll have a DD on your field because one of your scales is going to be a DD card. If you can replace that pendulum scale, or if you just hit something else entirely, double pendulum summon means that much more material to work with. Holy calzone. Okay. Dark Contract with the Zero King. Hey, look, it's the Reiji right there in the back. Continuous spell card. This card is always treated as a DD card as well as a Dark Contract. Okay. You can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. You can target one DD card that you control except Dark Contract with the Zero King. You cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except DD monsters. Also destroy that card, and if you do, special summon a DD monster from your deck. Okay. Once per turn during your standby phase, take 1000 damage. Standard DD clause, but we're hoping to get rid of this first. It can't pop itself, which, that's thankfully, you can't just do that. But it can pop other things. Well, not other Dark Contracts, other DD cards. But it can get rid of pendulum scales, it can turn monsters into other monsters. Sick inclusion. Okay, last one out of here. Dark Contract with the Different Dimension. Hey, that's Different Dimension Lady. For those of you who haven't or have seen my Different Dimension Explained video, you'll know the weird relationship between these two. And if you haven't, go watch it. It was a fun video to research for. You can use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, you can shuffle 2 Dark Contract cards from your graveyard into the deck, then target a card your opponent controls or in their graveyard and banish it. Second effect, once per turn during your standby phase, take 1000 damage. Third effect, if this card is destroyed, you gain 500 life points. Then, if it was destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you gain 500 life points. Okay. So, that's pretty goofy. So, the initial draw is this effect here, which lets you recycle your dark contracts as removal. It's like one of the virtual world gates. I forget exactly which one it was, but it did do as a quick effect. Took your stuff, put it back into your deck, did some removal, but in this case, it's banishing, and it can take care of the graveyard too, so that's heinous. If it's destroyed, you gain 500 life points. If your opponent destroyed it, you gain 1,000 life points total. That is very funny. I guess we'll see, maybe we'll see more of these contingent effects on there to get you value for escaping the contract. These cards are rad. It's weird that we got a Synchro and an Xyz that have a when banished effect. We do have our big boss fusion. I was thinking we would get one other fusion as well to kind of act as one of the materials we can banish off of for this to get an on banish effect, but to be fair, when it comes to fusion monsters, it's hard to unseat the ones we already have. This is outrageous. If this is not the full roster of DD support cards, then this is going even further into the atmosphere. But this is already outrageous. We have a tuner that you can recycle by getting rid of your dark contracts, and it modulates levels fairly well. We have a DD pendulum support card that helps you to ensure that all of your cards go where they're supposed to go. We have a new pendulum monster that's a great 0 scale that also gets you your dark contracts. We have a new boss monster that will just kill your opponent. We have a synchro climber. We have a searcher on a rank 4 searching body. We have a double pendulum summon link monster that gives you 3 arrows to pend summon to. A dark contract that turns your DD cards even into other DD monsters. And we have quick removal off of this. That also recycles your cards. This is outrageous. Now, DDD has always been something on the fringes. It's powerful, it does a lot of stuff, but it's very, very complicated to play. So it's always rewarded people who have memorized the lines and know how to adapt to a changing metagame. And those are some very difficult skill sets to come across, and there's usually other decks that are roughly as powerful but don't require the same amount of having to memorize the interior of a car engine level knowledge of the deck. These seem to flatten the kinds of things that DDs do. We have a lot of just generic good stuff cards. You know, the Synchro Climber, the King of the Feral Imps, the thing that solves all your pendulum summons. I don't think that's bad necessarily. It certainly makes the deck more accessible and more powerful. I wonder if it's enough to finally push this into full meta contention instead of it just being for, I would kind of say, a meme deck in a way. Powerful, but the deck is, how do I put this nicely? It's the kind of people who spend their time trying to learn how to be good enough at DD to best other decks that are currently the best in the format are piloted by people with something to prove, I think is the best way to put that. But let me know what you all have to say out there. What do you think of the new DD cards? I think they're all pretty fire, but of course I am a bit of a novice. I'm looking to learn more, but I've currently set myself a challenge where I'm not going to be covering DDs until we get to 200 supporters across Patreon and our YouTube memberships. Now, we've got 109 last time I checked, but I'm counting everything. I'm not setting, like, I used to set like a limit of like the $5 tier or higher, but that was a foolish thing of me to do. I should not be limiting what it means to support me in that way. So anything from $1 up on here on YouTube, or if you go to Patreon, which is linked down below, that counts towards getting us to that goal. It's 200 for DDs, and it's 300 for Yugioh Explained. That's the whole Performapal Pendulum Magician nonsense, but I'm shilling the DD one right now. Can we get to 200 by the time Dimension of Doom comes out? I'd like to be able to have those two coincide. If you have a dollar lying around that you can spare every month, I would super appreciate it. And it would mean a lot to me. So thank you for listening to this, I would say well-timed, very well-timed shill. Since that's been kind of on my backlog for a while, and I would love to do that. And hopefully this will be the push we need to get to that point, and we can talk about another one of Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest archetypes ever. Thank you all so much for watching. Once again, let me know what you think of the archetype down below and the cards themselves, what they do for the theme. And as always, until the next time Konami drops some juicy spoilers, I will see all of you next time. Bye-bye. Today's episode is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Get the sleeves as strong as dragon scales that even come with their own lore, and save 5% on your order by using the coupon code GoldenNova at checkout. It was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commanders, Upstairs Media and Chibi Gohan, Nebula Navigators, 3rd Dynasty, 50 Gigabytes, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Ancient Wizard, Andrew Newman, Battle Axe, Kane Senpai, Charlie Mercury, Christopher Fuss, Clockswork, Comrade Copperbottom, Dr. Reaper, Eric, Frankie, Garland Chaos, Green Knight, Great Big Pillock, Groog, Hairbear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Iron Zero, Iskander 711, Carp, Marion James E. Picata, Meme King, Millennia Asta, Muse Clark, Neon Yami Nair, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Batpoos, Rebel King Lucifer, Red Eyes Jackalow, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sonic 21 Blast, The Critic of Innocence, Thievery Coast and the Wizard Moose, Cosmic Crusaders Ally Vatnia, Animasta, Anthrak, A Random Pup, Baron Von Titty Sprinkles, Beluga Master, Blaze Rider, Blitzwolf, Chaz Ghost, Chibi Gohan, again, Christopher Fuss, again, Chris B, Cool Trainer Dark, Dr. Entity RIP, kind of again, what are you maniacs doing here? Eki Bullock, Eva Padilla, Herbal D, Inblink, Kale the Dragon, Lobomaru, Manga Pages, Martin Moore 2468, Natiel Lee Alexander, Nitromo, Not Al Gore, Nyx, Obsidian, Pombo, Rhyme Kairos, Shwenny, Shizuki Nijimura, Simic Toadstool, Sir Knight JCB, Sphilia, Stephen Williamson, The Legendary Raven, The Phantom Knights of Shitted Pants, The Queen of Time, The Gene, Tiger X2476, Tristan O'Meara, and Zaldreka, as well as the wonderful Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, be a part of these credits and other awesome perks, it would mean the world to me if you would check out the link to my Patreon in the description or consider joining as a YouTube member.